Hey fam, we're back at it today. I had a revelation when I was driving to work today that I figured I had to share because it really hit me. Like it hit me in my soul, and I was like, okay, there's some tea here, so let's clock it. Um, Basically, I realized what I prefer in how I show up to certain places, but really to any place, to any event that I go to, any social gathering, any place of work that I'm showing up at, any meeting that I'm showing up at, any errand I run. I had a revelation of how I prefer to show up to anything. And for me, that preference is to be unbothered, to be calm, to be at peace, to be very chill, be very neutral, if you will. Bringing it back to the first time I ever spoke on here. Neutrality. So yeah, I realized that that is what I prefer. I prefer to show up to things feeling like there's no pressure on how I look, on how I want to act. There's no thoughts going on. I just want to show up and be. I want to just go everywhere and just feel as if I'm existing. I don't know if this is an anxiety thing that I'm kind of getting over or like whatever it is. I don't really care where it comes from. All I care about is that I know how I prefer to show up. And if I prefer to show up at peace, feeling as if, I've done what I can to prepare if I need to, feeling as if I don't care. I just want to show up at peace. And so knowing that, that's what I care about. And so how I achieve that feeling is what I care about. Don't care how I got here. Well, I mean, that's true to a certain extent. I care about past experiences, the lessons you learn from them. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. What I really care about is knowing that I prefer to show up calm, to show up unbothered. And so I need to do what I can do in life to make sure that I stay at a place where I can access that feeling in any given moment. Because, like thinking a few years back or even a few months back, I feel like I would just walk into everything, like trying to prepare what I had to say, thinking of conversation topics if it got awkward in silence or whatever. Like I feel like I was like on a freaking hamster wheel in my brain. And there doesn't need to be. I don't care. I'd rather people think of me as ditzy and nothing in my brain than being in a frenzy all the time and having way too much going on and just being chaotic. Like, I want to be chill. I want to be neutral. And I want that hamster wheel ripped the F out of my brain. I'm tired of running in circles where there is no destination. There is no end point of that. It's just like a continual sprint. You're just wearing yourself out if you are in a loop of thoughts and whatever. Call it anxiety, call it overthinking, whatever you want to call it. But I had to jump off that hamster wheel and finally realized I don't prefer that. And of course, there were little bits and pieces that were leading me to this over time. But it kind of just clicked today of, I prefer to just go into everything unbothered. Okay, let's make sure I get there then. Let's do that. So how do we get there? So first, you have to decide, what do you prefer? I'm thinking right now just in general, how do you prefer to be? So you have to decide, how do you prefer to be? Do you prefer to be calm and unbothered? Do you prefer to be... what are your values? I don't know what your values are. Like, do you want to be the funniest in the room? Which that seems draining too, because you have to think a lot. I don't know. I think the best way to be in any situation is unbothered and chill and neutral. You're going into things with an open, clear headspace so that things can come in. You're getting people talking to you, saying things, whatever, people's opinions, facts, visions, like things you're seeing, like actually in life. you're taking in a lot of information. So if you have like a very neutral perspective and you're just open to everything, everything can come through you. Everything can come through you. You can process everything with a clear mind and then decide, let it sit in you and decide how you feel about it. Okay, I've decided. And then you can express a very sound response or a very, whatever you need to say. But if you're going into something and you have all these things going on, you're like, oh, I wanted to say this. I wanted to say this. I want to make sure I don't say this. I want to make sure I'm looking like this, feeling like this, whatever. When these external words and opinions and images, they come to you, when you're trying to take all this stuff in, it's like you're taking it in and it's like, whoa. You can't give a clear response if you got all that going on inside of you. So we want to get all of it out. We want to cleanse the hamster wheel in our brain that's causing all these random things in our body to process information weirdly. Okay, you want a clean, clear surface. So yeah, I guess that's what I've come up with, is that that's the best way to be. For me. For me. That's what I prefer. Again, it's what you prefer. So I've decided that's what I prefer. Okay, I prefer to be clear-minded, open-minded, so that things can come to me. People's words, people's actions, whatever. And I can process it from a clear perspective so that I genuinely know how I feel about it and I can respond accordingly. So maintaining that clear internal space is what's more of the challenge per se. Not that it needs to be a challenge, but just being real takes some time to get at that space. And I know because it's been many of years that I've been, probably like decades that I've been dealing with this hamster wheel for a brain that I have. But I feel like I'm finally making progress. I've made a lot of progress, please. But anyways, okay. How do we do that though? And you might have some tough realizations of like, oh my God, I'm doing so many things in my life that I don't want to be doing. And that's a good thing. If you have the awareness that you're doing things in your life that you don't want to be doing, that is such a blessing, because having that awareness means that you have the power to change those things. It's like, you've told yourself that you're going to start going to the gym or start eating differently or go on a walk every morning or make your bed every morning or make sure that you charge your computer at night, charge your phone at night so you don't wake up to like a half dead technology device. Whatever it is that you've told yourself that you want to start doing and you're realizing, oh, I haven't been doing those things, that's going to create some sort of unjust energy in your body and in your mind. You're going to be like, well, I said I was going to do this. I wanted to do this, but I didn't do that. That's putting you at a state of dis-ease, actually, which dis-ease, doing things differently than how you know that you should do them or how you want to do them, and you're not following that, that is disease. That is dis-ease. That is, what's the definition of like psycho or psychotic or whatever? It's like doing things when you know you shouldn't be. Anyways, I've found that I can fully be at this place of ease, this place of peace, this place of being unbothered no matter what people say to me, because I can, process it clearly by making sure that I am in a place of ease. I'm in a place of flow, which takes time to, first of all, realize what state of being you prefer to be at, like what mind space, what feelings you want to have when you go out into the world. It takes a minute to realize what you actually prefer, what you actually want to feel like, to be like, to identify as. It takes time to figure that out. then it takes time to figure out, okay, what am I doing in life that's blocking me from being that person, from having that identity, from feeling the way that I want to be feeling? What is between me and that feeling? And then it takes time as well to pull out the weeds, to de-weed the life that you've created for yourself. Because whatever life you're living right now, I hate to tell you, but you did that. Where's the creator? It's you. It's you. So you are the gardener of your garden, bitch. I got weird with that curse word there. Anyways, it takes a lot of time to de-weed. But if you care about living a life here that you actually enjoy, it's worth doing the gardening work. And I'll tell you, there were times where I was like, okay, well, it's either I cease to exist or I make this shit enjoyable. And I chose to try to make it enjoyable. And this is how I've been doing it. It's finding the things that you want and taking away the things that are stopping you from getting them. So if you really want to be unbothered and you want to be calm wherever you go, no matter what, you make sure that you're doing the things that you want to be doing to be that confident beach, to be that confident mother effer that can show up into the world, and whatever people say about them, around them, goes in one ear out the other. You're like, oh, couldn't be me. You understand that they're, people projecting their own insecurities. It has nothing to do with you. Okay, that's a whole nother thing. But if you want to be this unbothered person, you have to make sure that you feel confident enough to be unbothered walking out into the world. How do you do that? You make sure the habits that you're doing support this confident version of yourself. So yeah, if you want to be taking a walk every morning, make sure you're taking a walk every morning. If you don't want to be the girl that's showing up with a dead phone or a dead computer, hold yourself accountable. Set an alarm to charge your shit the night before. If you feel like you could be confident walking around if you had a fit body, eat right. Go to the gym. Make sacrifices. When you're making a sacrifice, like in the kitchen, for example, you're making a sacrifice. Okay, I'm not going to eat this. I'm going to eat this instead. You are showing yourself how much value you have, how much you love yourself. Just by making that decision, you're showing yourself, oh, I do care about myself enough to make this change to eat this and not eat that. Showing yourself that self-love, that value, you're telling yourself, I'm worth doing good things for myself. You have no choice but to show up differently in the world. You're going to value yourself more in the world if you value yourself more at home. So do whatever you're doing in the dark, whatever you're doing at home. Whatever you're doing at home, you make sure that you feel good about it. What's done in the dark will find a way to shine. What do you want to shine? Do you want to shine your weird habits or the incredibly, humbly confident queen that you transformed into? The habits she has, the queen has. We want to practice the queen habits. So I'm still working on it, but I had this revelation and I'm going to keep going with my queen habits. I already called myself Your Highness, so queen habits or nothing for me. So anyways, ask yourself, what do you prefer? How do you prefer to feel? And then ask yourself, okay, well, what am I doing right now that is stopping me from being that life, having that life that I prefer? Anyways, we may be ripped and torn a little bit, but we still have a smile on our face. That's the motto for today. You have to have cracks for the light to shine through. See? Okay, bye.